It started, and of course people will jump in as they see fit. Vanille, why don't you, oh, it is recording. Okay, so we started the recording, so we've officially begun the call. Welcome everyone to the Interledger Community Call, our monthly call where we check in on what's going on in the Interledger network and looking at different ecosystem partners and developers and partners and collaborators and grantees to see where our collective work is moving to. In the chat, you will see a link to our public note-taking doc. That's got all the meeting notes for this meeting going back months and months, if not years, and has a pretty robust schedule and agenda for today, including links and various other things. Feel free to comment or otherwise add to that document. Please sign in the roll call. And we love it when you share asynchronous updates, or if we have a little time at the end, you can shout out any updates or otherwise message us. The chat is also yours. Use it. And we've got various teammates looking at that as well. And we will move forward. So welcome. My name is Chris and Vanille from the Interledger Foundation host this call. So welcome. And first up, actually, we're going to jump right in with some, is Adrian on the call, Vanille? I can't see. Or is it going to be Matthew that does that piece?
So Adrian's not on yet. Can we skip us for the minute?
Yes.
Because Adrian is meant to be giving the announcements. I'm just checking if he's having an issue.
Gotcha. So I will jump to some Interledger updates, but while we wait for that, basically, a lot of our updates center around our upcoming summit, which I think most of you know is coming up in November. In the agenda, you can see all kinds of important links. I would definitely call out that we've started to announce some keynote speakers. So they're in bullet point 1, Stefan, Brianna, Maha, Isabel. Let me fix that actually. There we go. Isabel Cruz are our big keynote speakers. We have got more announcements on the programming coming soon. The website obviously is where you can track most of that, where we've been putting our announcements. Got a couple calls to action here that I think are essential. Even if you're thinking about coming or you want to come, go ahead and sign up for a ticket. That's that link there. Save your spot. We do have a limited amount of people that we're going to be able to have with the space considerations, etc. So it's a good idea to do that ASAP. Also, we are heading into the deadline of August 15th for our call for speakers. You also see that link there in the notes. Again, deadline is August 15th. So got some time, but it's time. The sand in the hourglass is beginning to wear out for sure. I'll tell you, we've been looking at them. We got 34 submissions already in there, some really competitive ones, some people really putting their best foot forward and on all kinds of fronts of things around financial inclusion, the technology, all kinds of new and interesting conversations and advancing important ones. And if you are even thinking about coming and you're unsure or you know that you're going to need visa help, please see that link down at the bottom where we do have resources for visa. And please 100% reach out to us, reach out to me or Vanille or our various ways you can connect with us. Slack is a good one. Do a shout out to our community Slack. And if you're running into issues, problems, or you need something from us, we are here to assist you. Reach out to us and we will see what we can do to help. Also, I think last time we were struggling with showing the venue video, but you can see this ILP Summit venue preview. The link is there. You can watch the video. And yes, Aiden, it is actually a beautiful spot. I've been there myself, and I can personally attest, as can Vanille. And then big shout out, which we'd probably be going deeper on in some future calls, but just a shout out and that our Interledger ambassador, Jeremiah, is working on our Interledger.social Mastodon instance. It is now live. You can see the link for that there and the announcement and some of the descriptions. Please go ahead and get an account there. Jeremiah is available to do some walkthroughs if you want to reach out to him on Slack, and we will be going deeper on this, I believe, in our next community call. So those are some Interledger updates. Before we move on, and I'm not even sure Adrian's here yet, but let me kick it over to Alex, who's going to talk a little bit more on the summit front and the plans for the hackathon.
Right. So when you sign up for the ticket, you'll have a little checkbox that says would you like to participate in the hackathon? I strongly encourage you to hit yes in that, because as opposed to the summit, we have an even tighter participation number close to that. I don't think everyone at the summit will be able to join the hackathon. So highly encourage you to sign up for the hackathon. In terms of what to expect, so the summit has a cocktail party. If you've been at the summit last year, it's a very similar timeline. There's a cocktail party the day before, that's the 5th for us, where you'll see the amazing people that are our grantees showcase some of the work they've been working on, while we enjoy a very good DJ and some cocktails. There's 2 days of talks, the 6th and the 7th, which are various different formats and various different spaces. And the last day of the summit, the 8th, we're going to have a full day hackathon. So far, we have identified challenges for Rafiki, for open payments, and for web monetization, but we are working with our partners who want to bring a challenge to the summit. Hint, Fynbos. GateHub is also one of the people who are bringing challenges to the hackathon. The format is about 20 minutes of good morning, about 6.5 hours of hacking, and about an hour of presenting or demoing your hack to the judges, a panel of judges. And at the end of it, every challenge has prizes attached to it. In terms of what to expect for prizes, I'm not going to give anything away now. It's not going to be cash. It's going to be all kinds of interesting gadgets. We have a list. We're checking it twice. I strongly encourage you to sign up for the hackathon, to come with an idea and leave away with a demo in front of everyone. We'll have the teams that work on Rafiki, work monetization, the testnet available and prowling around to help anyone that needs help getting set up or getting some development help into that project. We have about 20 people already there that can help you with your Interledger work. And that's about it for me. Hopefully, I'll see about 80 of you at the hackathon.
All right. Well, thank you, Alex. All right. You see on the chat that Adrian has entered the virtual room. So Matthew's been warming us up for a couple of the past calls that we've got some exciting announcements and some updates from Fynbos team. So Adrian, take it away.
Thanks, Chris. Yeah, it's definitely been a long time coming, and I do want to apologize to the broader community that it feels like this should have happened a really long time ago, but but we are finally taking down our waitlist, at least for US users. We've been doing some pretty extensive testing the last few weeks, friends and family, and we're pretty confident that everything's working as expected. The plumbing is all in place. We haven't spotted any new leaks. The money moves from left to right and back again. So yeah, if you're US based and have a debit card, we would love you to sign up, link your card to the wallet. That's how you get money in and out, and give us your feedback. The kind of the way to think of what we've managed to put out so far is we've got all of the basic functionality that we want to have in the wallet, but really only one flavor of it, if that makes sense. So you can sign up. You can connect an account. At the moment, the only flavor of account we can connect is a debit card, a US debit card. You can connect a credit card, but that would only be able to receive funds. It won't be able to send. And then you can connect an identity. So today, the only identity you can connect is a Twitter account or X account. You do that through an OAuth, flow from within the wallet. Our goal is to keep adding different flavors of both of those things, different accounts and different identities, and for the Fynbos wallet to become kind of a digital version of your wallet you hold in your pocket, and then for people to be able to use those identities to find you, pay you, and use those different accounts as the way to get money in and out of the ecosystem. Now that this is all set up, big priority for us, and I was discussing this with Alex last week in London, is to get Rafiki spun up and to allow folks to start accessing these accounts through open payments and also Interledger. So I don't want to put anybody else on the spot here, so suffice to say there are other companies deploying Rafiki who we're going to be looking to pair with. I think in the context of what Alex was saying around the hackathon, we haven't come up with any specific challenges ourselves, but our goal will be that by the time we get to the summit, anyone who's building on open payments can use whatever they built with the Fynbos wallets and real money. So so that's the idea. So to answer a couple of the questions, you can sign up if you have a US issued debit card and you have a and your address is the same as that billing address. So if you have a US address, you don't necessarily have to be living there right now, but that needs to have been an address of yours. So just to explain, we are keeping transaction values fairly small right now. I think I'll have to check, but I think our limits are in a few $100s a day, and certainly a few, I think max $250 per transaction. So what that means is the KYC that we do is relatively light. We're not going to ask you to upload any documents. We're not going to ask you to do anything to proof of address or anything like that. You'll give us your name, your date of birth, your social security number. We don't even capture that stuff directly. We're using a third-party service called Persona. This is their bread and butter, KYC. They are SOC 2 certified and have all of the necessary certifications to guarantee that your personal data is being looked after. They will do what we call a database check. So they'll just make sure that the data you provide us matches, data that's stored in publicly available databases. We don't know exactly who they use. I'm presuming most companies that do this will use services like LexisNexis and so on. And they'll basically come back with a risk score. They'll let us know that the data that you've submitted seems legit, and that's enough for us. If in future we want to increase the transaction limits and we want to allow people to do bigger transactions, which is not on our roadmap for now, obviously, like primary use cases are small person-to-person payments, web monetization, and so on, then we would introduce higher levels of KYC, and we would need you to do things like potentially upload a government ID and so on. So you should find the onboarding process pretty straightforward, pretty streamlined. If you don't, please let us know. Once you've signed up, you will be able to pick a payment pointer. So your wallet address is fynbos.me, whatever you choose. There's a couple of, if you go check out my wallet address today, you'll get an idea of what they look like. I'm just going to drop it in the chat here. So you'll have a public page like this, but you can control everything that's there. There's a few features there that are not available to everyone yet. The profile picture is something we've hard-coded in just to test out some design. The LinkedIn is not available yet to everyone. You can choose whether you want to put your linked Twitter account on there or not. You don't have to. You choose what public name you want to put on there, so you can call yourself whatever you like, but that's the name that other people will see if they want to send a payment to your wallet address. So all the plumbing is there. Basically, you'll be able to sign up. You'll be able to get a verified account, so do the KYC, link a card, and you're ready to go. We do sending from that card and pushing money to that card. We don't hold any funds as it stands now. We're still figuring out exactly how we're going to do that for web monetization. What we will probably do is hold a ephemeral account that you can cash out on demand if you earn web monetization. And if you want to send web monetization, we'll have sort of an account that you credit on demand. So we obviously can't charge a card for like 5 cents at a time. So we'll have something like a minimum spend from your card, and then if you don't use all of that sending web monetization straight away, those credits will sit around and for a period of time, and if you don't use them up, then we'll refund them back onto your card. So that's all still kind of in design and in development, but yeah, very happy to say the basics are there. We'd love to get some feedback. Big kudos to the team. It's been a mammoth effort. We've gone back and forth, and I would say pretty much rebuilt this 2 or 3 times to deal with. I think we're on to our 4th partner now that's allowed us to get the licensing we needed to operate in the US. So it's been quite an adventure to get here. And then I also want to say a big thanks to Alex and Sabine and the rest of the ILF team, Chris. They've been very supportive and very patient with us. So we're looking forward to continuing to work with them. We've got a lot of stuff in the pipeline that we want to get out, and we know there's a whole community depending on us. So we haven't forgotten that. We had to sort of really scale back on the scope of what we were going to get out in our MVP, just so we could get something, and then our plan is to iterate, build on that. So very excited to have it finally over the line, and thanks Matt and the team for that, and thanks all of you for your patience. Look forward to your feedback. Please, any feedback at all. If you spot a pixel out of line, we've got some perfectionists working on our front end. They'll appreciate that. And if you figure out how to break it, tell us what you did, and we'll try and make sure no one else is able to do that. So that's it. Thanks, Chris, and looking forward to getting feedback. And as I say, the roadmap going forward is iterations on the type of accounts, the type of Rails we'll support, and the type of identities. We've actually done most of the work for LinkedIn already, and we've also done most of the work to be able to link a website. So if you want to prove you're the owner of a website and tie that to your wallet address, we've done a lot of that as well. So that's quite a nice way to tie in if you put a payment pointer on a website. Also, like, the wallet can prove that website belongs to you. So that's sort of the immediate stuff on the roadmap, and then Rafiki, open payments, and web monetization. For us, the goal will be to have all of that up and running and working with a peer on the network before we meet in Costa Rica. See a couple of people in the queue, so I'll leave it there and I can take some questions.
Yeah, we have time for the 2 questions here. So I think I'll start with Adam, because I actually see that, and then there's unknown, and then Patrick jumped in. So let's take those 3 questions, but then we're going to have to move on because we do have actually a packed agenda. So Adam?
So I think my question is super quick. With connecting to Twitter, it did ask if I wanted to send a tweet out. Do you want us to do that, or do you not want us to do that?
So we do need you to do that, but we don't mind if you want to do that yourself. So the way that works is what we've done, and we're actually we're trying to sort of standardize this and build a concept here that I've got a whole sort of white paper, if you like, of how this proof of identities could work for global directories. So take a very quick step back and try not to take too much time on this. One of the biggest problems with using proxies for payments, so a proxy is something that's not an actual account number. It's something like an email address, a mobile number, a Twitter handle, is that somebody's got to maintain a directory that points those to actual financial accounts. So our idea and our what we think is the solution to that and self-sovereignty is don't point it to an account, point it to a wallet. So allow me as the user to have a single wallet address in the directory, point my identifier to that wallet address, and then I can control which accounts in my wallet I want to make available under that identifier. It's all within my wallet. So that's what we plan to implement within Fynbos and make the people will, once they have multiple accounts linked, be able to say, well, if I use this wallet address, then payments coming in should go to this account, those kinds of things. So that's sort of the design, the model that we're thinking about. But what that to build on that, we don't want the directory to have to govern that mapping. So if you, Adam, put your Twitter handle in the directory and say it points to your wallet address at Fynbos, we don't want the directory to now have to do a lot of work to figure out, are you really Adam? Is this really your wallet address? It can be a first come, first serve, because whoever looks up the identity and the wallet address can go and verify it for themselves. And that's why the tweet is put out publicly. So if I've got your Twitter handle and I've got your wallet address, I go to your wallet, and on your wallet, there'll be a link to the actual tweet you use to prove that's your Twitter address. So I saw a comment about Keybase. It is 100% exactly like Keybase. We copied the idea exactly from Keybase. It's a really powerful way of publicly validating that two identifiers belong to the same entity. So for us, you've got a wallet address, you can attach a whole lot of identifiers to it, but nobody has to trust us that those things are tied together. They can see it publicly. On your Twitter timeline is a pointer back to your wallet. On your wallet is a pointer back to the tweet. And so if you wanted to move wallets later, you can just go and delete that tweet and put up something else. And if somebody were to go and look for proof that your Twitter handle links to your Fynbos wallet, it wouldn't exist anymore. And so you have control over how those verifications work. So that's the thinking there. It feels a little bit more heavy-handed maybe than it needs to be, but the goal is sort of being part of a bigger picture where we can have these directories that point anything, Twitter handles, mobile numbers, whatever, to wallet addresses, and it's really easy for people to set those up in a way that's publicly verified.
Awesome, thank you.
All right, well, thank you.
That's a good prompt to publish the white paper. We've been sharing it with a bunch of other wallets and a few people like the ILF Foundation and others, but we haven't published it. So I'll probably look to do something like that in the next month or two.
Awesome. All right. Well, if you got more questions for Adrian, you know where to find him, or throw him in the chat. I'm sure he'll follow up, but we do need to move on because I'm looking at the time and we will, this is a, reboot on a number of fronts. We will probably do some longer engagements and some more share outs and some more Fynbos live things over the next couple of months through
absolutely
after and during the summit.
Yeah, and
awesome.
I think we'll try and grab a big chunk of agenda in the future, Chris, for a walkthrough and maybe a roadmap preview as well.
Yeah, this is just a moose bouche. There will be the full chef's tasting menu to come. All right, so Max, you've got a Rafiki update, is the rumor I've heard.
I have talking updates. I don't have any demo, but yeah, a quick update from us. I'll make it pretty short. Over the last little bit, we've have some new documentation pages on Rafiki Dev. Talks about how we move around liquidity, how integrators can use event handlers to essentially get events out of Rafiki and action those. We added some Postman API improvements to properly publish versions for each Rafiki release so that we can kind of make sure that you're using the Postman APIs for the correct Rafiki version that you're running. Some additions to the admin API, as well as more features for the admin UI for integrators to update and manage their Rafikis. For support and work with Testnet, we've done some work around cross-currency transaction support. I think Timea will have some more update on that later, but yeah, we've been working closely, of course, with Testnet team to get that out. Big things right now for us are updating how we do quoting in open payments and fees in Rafiki and open payments to be able to, for different wallets, for them to add fees as they need, both on the sending and the receiving side. And another big project for us is that is specifically kind of related to the remittance use case is how do we add KYC information to open payments, and how do we be able to pass that information along while making payments through open payments APIs, and how does Rafiki essentially be able to use that and move that data around. Yeah, that's mostly it. Yeah, back to you, Chris.
Thank you, Max. All right, and next, Timea from the Breakpoint team is going to walk us through a demo of where we're at with the testnet. And then hold on, because after that, Thistaworks is going to be doing a deep dive into their project.
Yes, hello everyone. So I will just share my screen. And please let me know when you see it.
There's a lot of background noise from somebody's mic, so if you're not talking, mute your mic. And yes, it's now sharing your screen. There you go.
It might be a big background noise from my side as well. Sorry for that. I am in a public space. Couldn't be helped today, but I will be short and sweet, hopefully. So we listened to all of your feedback and we are very grateful for it. So we actually implemented a lot of requested features. And one of them is that when you sign up, when you register for a new Testnet wallet account, then you will have to verify your email. And I will not register right now because I already showed you the registration a lot of times, but you will get an email to verify your account. And you have to confirm your email address first if you want to continue the sign-up process. And another very requested feature is to be able to log out of your account. So we are able to do so. And if you are logged out and you forgot your password, yes, we implemented this feature as well, a highly requested one. So just have to enter your email address and you will receive a similar email to reset your password. So yeah, that's okay. It happens to everyone. So reset your password here and then you can log in to your real email that you verified. So I will log in again. I think okay. So for all of this to be applied to your real email addresses, we will be doing a clean sandbox this week or the beginning of next week. That means that every data will be deleted again. And for the final time, fingers crossed, this should be the final time that we reset the database, because now we have the verify email, we have the forgotten password functionality. So if you register with your real email, it should be okay and you will never lose it again. So I will do a note in the Slack channel to let everyone know when that happens, but it should be this week or the beginning of next. So just keep an eye out on that. So these are three great features that we have, but we have a few more. What we implemented is we only had US dollar transactions available. Now we also managed to do the euro transactions, and in the meantime, we managed to fix a lot of bugs on Testnet and Rafiki side regarding cross-currency. And other currencies are coming really soon, but right now you are able to send euros to dollar accounts or euro to euro. So this currency exchange is possible. So if I want to send from euro to, let's say, I copy a US payment pointer, that is now possible. And let's do an amount of 10. Hi, everyone. And the quote is here, and the quote now has the sending. Of course, you are sending 10 euros, but the recipient is getting dollars. So we have this exchange rate applied as well, and the fee is in euros, the amount that you are sending. So this is another feature that we implemented. And another interesting feature that feedback that we got is that transactions can be not only completed but expired as well or pending. And for the request amount, we have added here an expiry, so you can actually test when a transaction is expired or how it expires if you want to do so. And if you don't set this up, it means that it's the default 30 days of the Rafiki setting, I think. But you can do this for example, if I do 1 second, it means that the expiry is set to 1 second, but actually it will be a little bit more until Rafiki processes this transaction. So I do this request and I will not fulfill it. So we will have this 10 euro expired transaction. If we go to the list, And another feedback we received that is when we do transactions, we had the transaction list right here at the payment pointer with the view, but we still have that right now. But we also have this new transaction option here, when you can see every transaction that you did for all payment pointers, for all currencies with pagination. You can see the funding of your account. You will be able to see if you withdraw money from your account. And we have some filters over here to the status: expired. We have the expired that I just set up. We have completed. I don't have any pending, so that will be empty. And you will be able to filter all of your transactions. And we also added the possibility to edit your public name of your payment pointer if you want to do so. And the delete payment pointer was there already, so this is nothing new, just the red X moved to this menu point. Okay, and another interesting thing that we managed to finish up is the developer keys in the settings. The developer keys, API keys, the private and public keys. I think mainly the private is used in the open payments, so you are able to generate the public and the private key. The private key is automatically downloaded, so you can save it, and is also displayed one time over here if the generation is successful, and you can copy it. And then if you close this, you will only have access to it when you go to the saved file. So we generated it. We have a key ID over here. It was created on the 9th, and we have a public key that you can it can be displayed every time you click on this button. And of course, you can do revoke payment pointer keys and generate them again. Every payment pointer has their separate public and private key generation possibility, because the open payments need to be used by separate payment pointers. So each one has their separate keys. And I think for the updates, that's about it. So upcoming functionalities will be multiple currencies, like many more currencies available, and some other small fixes. Right now, we do know about an existing bug when you do a transaction from euro to euro, I think, then the code is displaying a little bit weird numbers, but the fix is already done, and we will be updating that when we do the clean sandbox. So that means really soon. Yeah, that's about it. That's the new stuff. So thank you for the quick demo.
Thank you. It's exciting to track these updates on the testnet, and of course, you can get the links to play around with this yourself many times in the show notes in the agenda. There we go. And all right, so I want to hand it over to our friends and grantees. Nee at Thistaworks is going to go do a deep dive on their project and see, this work and the protocol and financial inclusion out there in the ecosystem, kicking tail and taking names. So Thistaworks, I'm handing it over to you all.
Thank you, Chris. I just turned on my camera very briefly to show my face that I am real, but I am on the road now. So my connection is a little bit weak, and I was told that my video froze before, so I will turn off my camera again. I am requesting Nye to share the presentation. Nye, could you please turn on the deck? I have a few colleagues joining me. Ang is our CTO. Nye and Sule are from our project team. Right? We have 4 colleagues from Thistaworks on this call. Nye, we can see the screen. Can you please make it a presentation mode? Thank you. Thanks, Chris, for the opportunity for us to talk about our project. We've been working on this for a while now, but apart from sharing some of the highlights at the some calls, we were largely quiet. There was a a pause in the project during the first phase, but we are happy, right, to be on track again, and we just completed the phase 1 of the project at the end of June, right? And this is a summary of what we learned, right, during the phase 1 and what we hope to achieve in the upcoming phases. Right? So we'd like to share with you, first of all, about what the background on the project, what we are planning to do, what we learn, and also what we would like to do in terms of the financial inclusion, right, for the for the users in Myanmar. Yang, this is not a the presentation mode yet. Yang, could you please click on the presentation mode to see the full screen? While Yang is doing that, let me give you a very brief background about the country of our operation called in Myanmar. Right? Myanmar is a country in Southeast Asia. I'm sure many of you have heard the unfortunate the political crisis that is ongoing in the country. The country has only 17% of people who are financially included. Let me turn off my camera just so that I don't lose connection. It's a country with a very high financially excluded people. Around 80% of the people do not use formal financial systems. They are outside of the system. It's a very cash based society. And when we started this project, we wanted to focus on helping the microfinance borrowers in the country, right, use formal financial services to repay their loans and make the disbursement, right, through their mobile wallets. So our financial inclusion using the Interledger protocol has been focusing on. It started with a focus on the loan repayments and loan disbursement for the microfinance borrowers in our country, in Myanmar. About 10% of the population are the microfinance borrowers. But since then, in 2021, there was a coup, and this political crisis has actually forced many of the people in the country to migrate to neighboring countries. So there's an influx of the migrant workers in the neighboring countries now who are now sending the remittance back to the other country to help their families, and many of them are also repaying microfinance loans. So our definition of the financially inclusive payment network expand from the domestic to also include cross-border use case. So right now in this project for Testnet, right, we are going to be focusing on 3 use cases: microfinance loan repayments, microfinance the disbursement, and the cross-border. Maybe you can go back one slide up. The problem for the financial institutions, right, and for the users, there is a common commonality, right, between them. That is that there is a lack of interoperability, right, for the users and also for the financial institutions to connect to each other. There are more than 30 wallets, right, in the country. We have 183 microfinance institutions, over 28 banks, and they are all currently connected to each other bilaterally, right? So that has always been a big challenge of both for the users and also for the financial institutions. And with this project, we are trying to address that as the one of the major pain point. And of course, many of the MFIs also do not have the core banking system that they need to be able to connect to the real-time payment network. For the users, the cross-border remittances is very expensive, and a lot of the users and also the financial institutions that we want to target, which is the microfinance institutions at the second or third tier of the financial institution layer, right, do not have the digital literacy or the technical capabilities to actually to use the real-time payment network as it is designed traditionally in many other places. So we need to come up with the solutions and the bridge, right, to bring them, on board. And so we will be talking about the solution. Nate, can you please move to the next slide, please? Okay. So the solutions that we thought about, right, can be broken down into two parts. Right? It's a two-pronged approach. Right? One solution is actually to bring the MFIs, right, who are offline, right, from connecting to the real-time payment networks, right? So out of 183 MFIs, right, we have around 160 MFIs with either no co-banking system or with co-banking system that does not have a API capabilities, and because of that, they are excluded from connecting to a real-time payment network, right? In another project that we are doing, right, Thistaworks is also implementing, deploying Moja Loop as the real-time payment network in Myanmar, right? So when we started the project with the Interledger Foundation, what we wanted to do was to create a bridge, right? Using a payment portal, a web-based payment portal that will enable the MFIs without any co-banking system to connect to the real-time payment network, to use this as a bridge, right, to connect, right, to the Moja Loop, the deploying system. So that was the first step that we did. In the second step, right, what we are currently designing, preparing for the prototype, is to create the connectors who will that will connect the cross-network providers or the remittance service providers from the neighboring countries, right, to remit money back to Myanmar. And we want to, use the Interledger connectors, right, for that purpose, connecting the different remittance service providers in the neighboring countries like Thailand, Singapore, Korea, Japan, right? There are 5 countries that we have in mind. We will start with the closest country, Thailand, but then we'll expand into other neighboring countries where there's a majority of Myanmar migrant workers, right, currently working and remitting money back, right? So that's the high level overview of the solution, and using this two, right, combination, right, we will be able to unlock the people who are financially excluded, right, from getting access to finance, and also getting access to the financial system, not only domestically, but also from the cross-border remittance network, right? So the just to recap again, right? This payment portal is the portal that will connect the microfinance institutions, right, who are not able to traditionally connect to the real-time payment network, and these are X connectors, the connectors who will connect between the remittance service providers, and also with this payment portal to have access to the microfinance institutions who are not able to receive the loan repayments or loan disbursement through the mobile wallet, right? Any other way. Next slide, please. I have touched base on, right, a lot of the objectives that are listed here, so I will not go through that. The financial inclusion is very the important part of our mission in Thistaworks, and with this project, right, we are also hoping that we'll be able to use digital payment as the tool to drive financial inclusion. So that's a major focus for that. And talk about the combination of Testnet, which is the solution. The name of the solution that we are calling Testnet has 2 components, right? On phase 1, right, which is the purple box, right? We built the prototype for this payment portal. We tested with 2 MFIs, got their feedback, and then we continue to refine, right, this. Right? Having that piece will enable the MFIs, right, to connect to Moja Loop, right, to start making loan repayments and loan disbursement. In the next phase, right, we are beginning to look at the design, and I'm thankful for the support from Max and Sabine and Alex from the Interledger Foundation, right, to help, right, our technical team, right, to understand more on how we could, right, use ILP in our the design, and also, right, how we could also add on, right, based on our experience with our other real-time payment deployments, how we could also add on additional components that will help actually serve the remittance service providers. They are remittance service providers, right, who are in touch with us in those neighboring countries who want to remit money back to Myanmar. Because Myanmar has a unique, right, situation right now, right, we think that it is a really good use case for us to see how we could use ILP to drive that. And once we have that up and running, we also believe that it is not limited, that use case and that functionality is not limited to Myanmar, and that there are other countries, right, in both in Asia and also in Africa, that we have seen where these use cases are also the relevant, right? So we are really excited about this this journey, right? But for 2023, right, we will focus on building this out, right? So this is a I would say not a completed solution, but a solution that is in design. But we are really excited, about that. Next slide, please. So in the next 3 slides, right, I will quickly go through the first part of the solution, where we have already built the prototype, have tested, and that is only one part of this the final solution, right? In this payment portal, right, which is a web-based portal where the MFIs, right, can use to receive loan repayments and the disbursement, right? We are targeting a very specific set of MFIs, right? So we have out of 183 MFIs in Myanmar, right? Some MFIs with the core banking system with API capabilities can connect to the real-time payment network, right, without any additional layer, right? They have the API integration through any connectors that they want to use, right, to connect to a real-time payment switch, right? But for the MFIs, right, without any API capabilities or without any core banking systems, right, we are offering this payment portal as the portal where they will authenticate themselves, right? They will sign up, they will authenticate themselves, and then they use that as their own system to start connecting with the real-time payment switch. But the way that they would then, right, issue the payment instruction, right, is to upload a CSV file to this portal, right? They have a make a checker role. They will log into the system, and then they will upload a payment instruction in a CSV file, right, to send the money to different wallets, or then the borrowers, right, who are also, right, borrowing money from these MFIs, right, can also repay to those MFIs, right, through their wallet, and then, right, these MFIs who are not connected through APIs will log into our portal, and then will receive the payment receipts from the other wallets, right? And then they can view it, they can manage it in the system, and then they can also download it, right, to their systems to reconcile that. Right? So, Nying, can you please move on to this is the repayment the workflow, right? The first one is the normal workflow for the MFI clients, right, to use the wallet to repay the loans and record it in the core banking systems of the MFI. The second the workflow is where the MFI will come in, and then, right, when they repay the loan, right, instead of it is connected to the MFI and core banking system, it will be sent to the this payment portal, where the MFI admins will log in and receive the payment instructions from there. The settlement between the wallets and the MFIs happens normally, right, with their own settlement arrangement, right. There will be a settlement bank where the actual money is settled. This layer is the messaging layer where we are actually clearing the money being sent, right, between these organizations. Next slide, please. This is the disbursement, right? So the same, flow for the API integration layer. For the MFIs without any API integration, what they will do is they will authenticate themselves in the payment portal, and then they will upload the Excel, instruction with the CSV, and then it will be connected to the real-time payment switch, right, to then disperse to all the wallets, right? So these two use cases have been tested, and that MFIs are very excited about this capabilities. In many of the countries that we are, we have partners and we have different ongoing projects. This payment portal has also been identified as one of the tools that will help the financial institutions, right? It could be credit union, it could be the cooperatives, it could be MFIs, right? Normally, the financial institutions in tier 2 or tier 3, right? And many of those, the tier 2 or tier 3 financial institutions, right, are also lacking behind their digital transformations, right? Only maybe the top few and the largest of those financial institutions will have the systems that are capable of integrating directly with the real-time payment switch. Right? For many of the other systems, they will need to use a portal like this, right, to be able to actually take advantage of the real-time payment, the systems that are being implemented in their countries. So as the real-time payment systems are being rolled out, I think, right, the need for this portal is going to become even more, crucial. And this is, the trend that we are seeing. Next slide, please. So this is the remittance portion of our solution, right? So Testnet, as I mentioned, right, has two components, right? One is to address the offline, the MFIs. Another one is to address the cross-border remittance, so that people who are sending money back from our neighboring countries, right, back into the country, can also repay loans of their family members, and also deposit money into the either credit unions or the MFIs, right? So that's the intention behind that, right? So in short, right, these are X, right, connectors are Interledger connectors, right? So these are ILB connectors, right? So in addition to ILB connectors, right, what we are adding is, right, different components that we will need to make this the money transfer not only complete, but also address the business use case, right? So we are looking at the business requirements from remittance service providers, right, who are remitting money back. For the first portion of this project, right, we will only be focusing on the inbound remittance from the neighboring countries back to Myanmar. We will not be working on the outbound remittance from Myanmar to other countries. So there's like only one way, one direction that we'll be focusing on. There will be licensed remittance service provider in the sending country, and there will also be a licensed remittance receiver in Myanmar, right, who will be able to, right, receive this, right. Now, we are going to be providing the technology that will allow either the mobile wallet users or via agent, right, in the Thailand, Singapore, Korea, Japan, to send money back, and then it will be either received in wallets in Myanmar or in the MFI, either saving accounts or loan accounts, right, in Myanmar. And this, the solution blueprint is something that we have designed conceptually, but we would love to start building this as a prototype in the next phase, right? So this is where we are right now. So this is not a finished solution that we are presenting, but as a result of the phase one, right? This is the prototype design that we have, that we would like to implement it in by the end of 2023, right? So that we can start testing that, right? In 2024 forward. Next slide, please. So that this high-level system architecture is actually expanding on a slide before, right? In the slide before, right, where we are shown is a sort of a one-to-one the remittance flow from a remittance service provider in Thailand, sending money back to remittance service provider who will receive this, right, in Myanmar, right? What we see happening is that, right, once we have that in place, once we have the X, right, connectors, right, in place, we will be able to start bringing the remittance service providers, right, onto this network, right? Basically by deploying additional X connectors for additional remittance service providers in Singapore, Korea, Japan, right, without having to roll out, right, all the pieces again. And that once they are connected, they are not only be able to send money back from from Japan to Myanmar, for example, but they can also send money from Japan to Thailand, and Japan to Singapore, and Singapore to Thailand, and Singapore to Myanmar, right? That they will have access to all the financial institutions who are connected to Testnet, right, via Thistaworks, right? And of course, beyond that, right, we have this dream that this will also enable us to connect to a larger Interledger network, right? That because these are all ILP connectors, that any financial institutions who are using ILP connectors, will be a potential partners for these financial institutions to connect. So for us, right, we see this as the growing ecosystem for the Interledger, the ILP network, and that, right, will benefit, from having, this, right, also applying to this. Very quickly, business model, right? We are going to be looking at different kind of revenue streams, right, to roll this out, right? We have very interesting talk with the remittance service providers, right, who are interested in, right, using the technology, and then we hope that we'll be able to commercialize that, right, very soon. Right now, we are in a we just completed phase one, right? We already completed the prototype of the first part of the solution. For the second part of the solution, we are hoping that we'll be able to embark on that in the second part of 2023, and 2024. This is where we would like to roll this out. Next slide, please. Right. So we just talk about the business model and the development process. Chris, you are muted. How am I doing in time?
Well, we're up against it, if I'm honest.
Okay.
So
All right.
why don't you go ahead and wrap it up? This recording will be available, and we will share out the slide deck. But why don't you maybe let people know how to reach you, or what they should be looking for from you going forward?
Sure, Chris. Thank you so much. We will share this deck with you, and this deck has, in addition to all this, the information, there's also a set of slides for the functionality of the system. If any of the ecosystem partners, right, in this call or in any other calls, are interested in having the first part of our solution, which is the payment portal, developed with the help of the Interledger Foundation. Right? We are very thankful for that. It is ready to use. Right? If you have in any of your the local deployments, the financial institutions who are not able to connect to real-time payment network, right? This is the solution that could help you, right? Please reach out to us. Nhain, please go into the last slide, right? I think there's the email address where you can contact us, right? But we are on the Slack, and we are on many different places where you can reach us. Thank you.
Awesome.
Chris.
Thank you. Thanks everyone for joining and staying till the end. I would say 100% this is a great shout out for the Interledger Slack channel. I believe probably everybody here is there. If you're not, be there, but you can, you can post a public comment. You can reach out to the Thistaworks team directly. Also reach out to Vanille or I or anybody on Interledger staff, and we're happy to make connections. And also, if you want and you didn't get a question answered or some other comment, just throw it in that public note-taking doc and we will route them to the appropriate places. And with that, look for the recording and the share outs in the next couple of days. This is an action-packed meeting. I told you we'd be right up against it, and we are. And we thank you all for joining, and we will see you in a month and on the Slack channels.